Welcome back, everyone. Today we have an amazing guest, Ahmed Allam, senior financial expert as His Highness Ruler Court here in Dubai. We're going to have an amazing discussion about what does it mean to set up your business in a legal way in the UAE and Dubai. What does it mean to operate it? How do the systems, the courts, the legal system and the legal framework work here on the ground? Also, we're going to have an amazing discussion. What does it mean actually for the future of UAE when it comes to money, when it comes to stablecoins, when it comes to CBDCs, when it comes to Bitcoin, and when it comes to the future of digital assets. Welcome, everyone. My name is Anton Golub. Today, I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Demetrios Zamboglou. You're going to have a blast and enjoy this episode. Subscribe and like, and see you soon. So thank you very much for joining the podcast. And it's really a pleasure to have you today. And I think today we're going to have a very interesting discussion, which will also open up more of our and the audience's knowledge on the legal side, on the regulatory side, something that's always part of the digital asset finance crypto industry that we read a lot, but maybe we need to learn more about, or our audience, Demetrios, should learn more about, and ourselves included, not to mention that we always need to improve our knowledge.
Anton, I think today we're in this privileged position to have a specialist, a guy who is also an advocate for education, and I've seen him sit in many panels, and he's ready to help, and he's ready to educate the people out there in what they need to do right, and of course how to make sure that their companies are successful. So thank you for coming today in our podcast, Ahmed.
Thank you, guys. Actually, I'm so happy for being here, and thank you for this invitation. I expect that we will have an exciting and amazing discussion during our podcast.
What is happening nowadays in your line of work? What are the fascinating things you are doing? What are you working on? I mean, I believe with Anton we will talk about everything today, how AI is in your business, but let us know what is happening, what is in your microscope.
Actually, once you come to my work field, you know that I'm a senior financial expert, and we are focusing deeply on financial fraud investigation, company liquidation, company valuation. This is our main focus. From my own side, I'm more involved in virtual assets and cryptocurrency related companies. So as you know that the crypto and virtual asset, the tokenization, all of these are coming as the most important and most attractive side of business for all of the investor, for daily work, and for the individuals as well.
Yes. Can you tell us a bit how did the regulatory framework and the regulatory advancement helped ease your job or make your job less active, less stressful? Because if we kind of think about it, the virtual asset, digital asset, crypto industry, how you want to call it, it kind of started off in a unregulated way. That was the feature of the industry. That's why it could start, right? It was not heavily constrained, heavily regulated, heavily required. But then kind of what we learned over time is that many mishaps have happened in our industry. We need to be honest about this. But I think also the regulators and the industry itself were always looking to catch up to that, right? So learning how things work, learning what the specifics of the crypto industry, and then laying out regulation, which I think UAE is today one of the leading jurisdictions globally. So has this regulatory rollout made your life easier? Has it made it more active? Has it made it more exciting or less exciting? How does that look like on your side?
Actually, once we come to the regulation side, and once we come to the cryptocurrency and virtual assets sector specifically, the regulation is something so important. The main concern about the virtual assets and the cryptocurrency that it missed the well regulation, and there is no specific overall regulation all over the world. Once we come to the virtual assets or the cryptocurrency or even the stable coin as well. So it's something so debatable. Some country are accepting it, some country are rejecting it at all, and the other country are in between. So still they are checking the water, putting their feet in the water to check how everything is going well. But if we talk about the UAE and Dubai specifically, actually it takes the lead regarding setting up the jurisdictions,
Yes.
putting the regulations to regulate this sector. UAE is considered the hub of the fintech, the hub of the virtual assets, the hub of the digitalization in the MENA region in general, and it taking the lead in this side in all over the world. And most of the investors, one of the first come to mind to find a place to set up their business, UAE and Dubai. Specifically Dubai, Abu Dhabi as well, Abu Dhabi global market, making a great work in this side. So in Dubai, we recently we have the VARA, Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. It has a significant role.
I would say significant impact actually as well.
Significant impact as well, sure. And any company nowadays need to get the license from VARA, and VARA they setting up a specific rules and regulations to regulate it in a proper way. And before the setup, because I have been here many years ago, and I witnessed the market related to the crypto and virtual assets before the setup of VARA. It was we can say little bit messy, not well organized, but once they come up with the VARA, Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, I think everything start to come on track, and every company start to know which direction it have to follow to make sure that it have the license, it have the proper way of direction. So it help us a lot. We start to have like a reference to check, to compare. It's like a checklist.
Yes.
If you are well doing or bad doing, if you are on a right track or you are on a wrong track. So for me, the setting up the jurisdictions, putting the regulation, it playing significant role in my job, in my work, in my daily tasks. So it facilitate, it enhance the quality of my work, and it accelerate as well my job to get done much faster, to reach the conclusion in much proper way, and it reduce the we can say the confusion, and the conflict as well, because we have the right regulation, we have the right checklist. All of us, we align to it, we check it if we are with or if we are not with it, so we can evaluate our performance perfectly based on the jurisdictions and the regulations set up by the Dubai government.
Understand. When we come to and look at the UAE, we have Dubai, but then we have also the authorities in Abu Dhabi, ADGM, right? We have also Ras Al Khaimah with Ragdal. Hopefully Fujairah, Hatta Al Ain at one point as well. And also then we have environments or free zones where you can then conduct and open your business, but many times a particular free zone or a jurisdiction within UAE might be better or less suited for what you do. So you can, it's kind of, they're complementing each other, right?
Yes.
But how much does that make your legal profession easier or less easier? Because when you have so many different complementary products and services and the companies that then can offer them, it seems like it's very useful because you kind of have a menu of what you can do, but it makes your life very difficult understanding all of that as an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
And the reason why do I mention it, for instance, in Switzerland, I was living there for 15 years. We have one regulator, it's FINMA, you know? Or you go to US and then it's SEC, CFTC, who knows what, right? And they all interact with each other. How do you see this on the legal side?
Frankly speaking, some people consider that the differences in the regulations or the standards between, for example, in Dubai as well, we have the VARA and we have the DIFC.
Exactly.
The regulations is different, you know, and the VARA regulations is applied in all the company established in Dubai except the DIFC.
I read an article that soon they are starting to work together.
Welcome,
and this is
welcome to that.
Very nice.
Yeah. And as well, in Abu Dhabi, they have ADGM as well. It have its own regulation. But this kind of criticism, I consider it in a positive way. I look at it in a different way, in a positive way. Like I give you a different menu, a different taste, a different way of handling your business. You can choose.
Yes.
Because if you feel that this area, this place, this jurisdiction, this regulation is not in the favor of your business model, so you can choose the other.
Yes.
So from the perspective of the entrepreneur, from the idea of the company, from the founder of the company, I believe that the UAE is an amazing market. He can choose between the different jurisdictions, the different regulations, the different area. However, in the free zone, in the mainland, whatever, which suit, which match perfectly with his business model. And that's why for my advice for any business owner, for any founder, for any entrepreneur, he have to delve into the different jurisdictions in a proper way. He have to understand it. Otherwise, he should seek the advice from the business advisors who can direct him to the proper way, how to handle his business, how to set up, in which area he should set up his business.
Is there a list online for this kind of business advisors? How do you go?
Yeah, how do you find the right people?
How do you find the right people?
Actually, it's very, very, very hard questions because everyone consider him he's the best and he's the perfect one.
You should make a license for this advisor, like lawyers.
Sure,
to make
and
sure
ranking.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
not ranking. It's fine. If you have your license.
Yeah, but you can first of all, word of mouth is playing very important role. Word of mouth, you can check with the experience of others.
Yes.
Other thing, you can check the history of this company, what it was established before, what it have done before. This is something important. The individuals within the company as well. Who is managing, who is the professional who's working on your business, what is his background or her background, what is his knowledge, what he done before. All of that is playing role. So you have a responsibility, you have a homework as a business owner, as a founder. You have to do it to make sure that you are getting or you seeking or you communicating with the right person or with the right entities.
Yes, one of the key goals of Blockcast podcast is to demonstrate and show and explain a little bit what's happening in UAE and the region, and also to explain a bit who are the key people who are building here and interacting here. For instance, we had our good friend Irina Heaver before, who comes from a legal profession. She kind of explained us how certain aspects of the crypto industry work. Yes. But I think a lot of my colleagues, for instance, today in the morning I met up with a colleague from Switzerland who is leading an important crypto company back there. And for instance, one question I always get asked is, what is the difference from a legal perspective between mainland and offshore in UAE? Can you maybe explain a little bit from your perspective, like what's the difference for our audience, because many of people around the world watch this, to explain a little bit like how does it work?
Very good question.
Yes, it's amazing actually. Mainly we this is the keep asking question, keep repeating question, shall I do my company or establish my company in the mainland or the offshore company or free zone area? So mainland have specific responsibilities, has a specific advantage related to it give extra privilege because you become more responsible for the action or for transactions or for activities you are doing. But the free zone area give the advantage related to taxation, for example, as well. It's something so important you can consider. If you are dealing with other country outside UAE, it's better to set up your business and your company on the free zone as well. It give extra privilege related to the regulation, financial statements, and the audited financial statements, and all of that it should also consider. And in the mainland, it give you access for to deal with the government in more privilege in this area. So in each side has its pros and cons as well.
Yes.
So that's why at the beginning you have to start with what is your business model, how you going to manage or perform or control or direct your business. So accordingly you have to check which is matched and which is not perfectly matched with your business model.
I think when I was working in a big online broker in the region, we used to view that if we want to do local advertisement in the region, you need most likely to have a license onshore.
Sure.
Because you're going to be doing advertisement in the streets. But if you want to do advertisement in that free zone, then you can have this license of that. Free zone. We used to look at it more from a marketing perspective.
Perfect. Actually, there is something else. Actually, it was before. Nowadays, after the regulations have been changed, the situation has become different. Because before, in the free zone, you can own your company 100%, especially if you are a local guy.
Yes.
Okay, that's why a lot of people was preferring to set up their business in the free zone area, because they would like to have the 100% ownership, 100% of the ownership of the company. But nowadays you can have this on the mainland. That's why it make a lot of people shift to the mainland.
Yes.
So it doesn't need partnership with a local person to set up or to start your business. So it make a huge transition for this idea once you are deciding to set up your business in UAE.
Yes. And can I ask is it the case that what we hear or read many times is that in the free zones, in the offshore, the legal framework is mostly inspired by the Western legal framework, while on mainland it's mostly local driven framework. Is this the case, if I understood it correctly?
I cannot say no, and I should not say yes. Okay.
Very good answer.
In fact, because if you go to the free zone area, for example, and you will discover most of the company there are managed and owned by Western companies or Western guys. Okay.
Yes.
While in the mainland there is like a mix between all.
Yes.
That's why it gives you the feeling that the free zone is mainly preferred by the Western. But it's not like that, because the Western is still in the mainland, and as I told you, since there change in the regulations, now it's start to attract more business owner and more founders to set up their business in the mainland. Yeah. And the good side in the UAE that it has a lot of free zone area in everywhere.
Yes.
And DMC, sure. In the DIFC, in Jabal Ali,
Internet City,
in Internet City, in a lot of area. So it facilitates setup. In however you get the feeling, you get the structure of mainland. However, your business is on the free zone.
Yes, understand. And can you tell us a little bit from your understanding and your experience? How, because we always talk about digitization, efficiency, compared to the rest of the world, do you have a bit of understanding how much more efficient are we here in Dubai if we want to set up a business? Because also I think one of the key benefits of the region here is that the processes are digitized. You can get things done very quickly. You can bring in talent very quickly as well. What is your experience? How does this process look like? Is it fast? Is it less fast?
Yeah,
where is it faster or slower? Not too, but in general, yeah.
Do you remember what we heard last week? You can bring talent, but bringing the right talent is still hard.
Because it's a demand for the right talent.
Yes,
it's challenging.
it's a big demand.
Of course. Actually, once you come to how fast you can set up your business, no doubt, UAE in general, Dubai specifically, one of the fastest place you can set up your business. One of the bureaucracy, which we can see in everywhere in the world, is not exist here. It break all of the requirements or barriers to penetrate the market.
Yes.
As you see, anyone can set up his business here in Dubai. Anyone, any person, once he met the requirements,
Yes.
once he fit for this. Compared to Europe, for example, Europe it's so difficult, as you know, to set up your business, to open a bank account, to get the KYC, all of that. It's so difficult. If we give an example, I don't want to specify a specific country, but for France, for example, France one of the most difficult country to set up your business there. To build your to open your bank account, for example, to manage everything related to your business. Whilst once you come here, you can open your company through the online.
Yes.
Just you submit all of the requirements, all of the documentation, and within few days you will be able to run your business. And later on, you can develop your business to go on a bigger scales. The idea of you can say the paperless mechanism or the paperless strategy applied by the UAE and Dubai, it's something actually it's amazing. As you see, you can do whatever in everywhere and in almost no time once it's following the law and regulations. So here it's not comparable to anywhere. So it's very advisable to if you would like to have an idea, if you would like to have an principle of a business. So here it's very amazing place to set up, to launch it, to facilitate everything around.
Yes. One of the key goals on our podcast is we're trying to explain a little bit
Yes.
how things happen
Yes.
actually on the ground here in the UAE, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And what we see actually lately is that many people around the world, they come here, they set up the business, but they also see UAE as a great opportunity to bridge other regions of the world. So to, for instance, bridge the East and bridge the West, right?
I think this will be happening starting from Monday a lot.
Yes, so very, because we have Token 2049, one of the key events.
Yes.
And this is so important that we always explain to people who watch our podcast kind of what is really happening on
Yes.
the ground, because many people are looking at the UAE,
Mm.
but not always clear how do these details work and what is the reality in the...
Oh, I mean, I had so many questions from my team coming from America. Are we allowed to walk at night at the street? What should we wear? I mean, the media is doing its work, of course, but it's portraying sometimes what is Dubai in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, here is so advanced and everything is so safe that they should not worry about anything, to be
Yes.
honest.
As you see, and I agree with Anton, that sometimes a lot of company need to set up their business for seeking a matter of reputation.
Yes.
Because once you know once you announce that you have a branch, you announce that you have a company in UAE and Dubai specifically, it give you a good branding.
Yes.
So here it's considered very good place for to present yourself
Yes.
in front of other company, in front of other individuals, in front of other customers. It's actually it's so I can say it's in somehow it's in a prestigious way. You should have a branch at least here in Dubai. Once you have a business and you would like to go move around, so one of the main place you should have here in UAE and Dubai.
100%. One of the key benefits, and I think this is where UAE is leading in the world, is safety, as you mentioned. Safety and security. And we have an amazing infrastructure here. We have an amazing talent.
Yeah.
We have an amazing capital. But what I think nobody in the world can compete is safety. And I wanted to ask, because you have so much experience here, how much has the legal framework, the judicial courts, how much they have contributed and enabled this safety and security that we have here throughout many of these years? What is your perspective there?
Perfect. Once you came to the judicial and the public prosecution and police office and the court in general, they are leading the area. First of all, I think if you ask any person, if you face any trouble, you just get your mobile phone and call for the police station. Immediately, within a few minutes, you will find support, and this support is very active, and they can solve your problem so easily. Once you have any conflict, if you are running your business and you have a conflict with other bank, with other company, with the vendor or supplier or customers, this kind of conflict could be raised to reach the court for a civil case or commercial case or whatever. I observe, and I'm not just observing, and I see this on my daily basis, that the Dubai court trying to minimize the time of the case running and to reduce the time duration. And I believe within the coming few months or few years, they will come to the best rank in all over the world for getting everything done perfectly in very less time and without any sacrificing or compensation regarding the quality and professionalism. So I see this on my daily work, and they are doing a great job on regarding this site.
And can I ask, how are they achieving that? Is it this new technology? Is it AI? Is
perfect.
it because it's? I just have to say is that I think this is so important for the trust in the region, to have efficient courts. We know that life is beautiful, but sometimes things happen where it's not pleasant. And if we have a system and a process and an environment to resolve for the best for everyone very quickly and efficient, this is amazing. So can you tell us a little bit from your insights? What are they using AI, or is it, or what technology, blockchain technology, what is being used there?
Actually, it's some kind of integration of a lot of things. It's not just the AI, it's not just the technology. Of course, they are playing so significant role. But first it comes from the strategy, how they are, what they are targeting, how they are managing this, and what facilities they are providing. Nowadays, I can tell you that you can run your case, and you can open it, and you can run through all of the process, and you get the final judge without even go to the court.
It's amazing.
Everything done online, everything that happened remotely. And you don't need to be presented physically in front of the judge or in front or go to the court. And this happened and I saw a booming in this since the COVID pandemic. And I observed that everything start to switch and move to become online. If you even try to go to the court nowadays, almost no one there. Everything is done remotely. Even the hearing is done remotely. You can present in front of the judge in a remote way through all of the applications used for the meeting and all of that. So they take a very long step to related to how they provide a facilitation to make life easy, even once you have a conflict with others. So what you have is enough, so will not make it more difficult for you as a party in a case. So they are working on this in a good way. Artificial intelligence is playing so amazing role as well. If we come to even the expertise related to the court, especially for the commercial cases, they start to use the artificial intelligence for fraud investigation to come up with the detecting irregularities or fraudulent actions in fast and in very accurate way compared to our traditional way in investigating any financial cases before. So all of this helping a lot in facilitating and accelerating the process of conflict in front of the court, Dubai court specifically.
I understand. Amazing.
So AI is the way forward, but again, there is rules, there are frameworks you need to take into consideration, and also what worries me is that if you fully automate, this kind of error might exist in a case that it shouldn't exist there. So people or companies can do a petition against that if they believe the outcome was wrong. How does this work?
Actually, once you talk about from the perspective of the court itself.
Yes.
You have a degree of the cases. You have the first degree, you have the appealing, you have a cassation court. So you have a level. So once you feel that the conclusion or what the verdicts that come with is not matched with what you was believing, so you can appeal this decision or this verdict. And it's start to become to reinvestigate it again with a bigger committee, and maybe there is other expert get involved to investigate more in your case to make sure that what the previous verdict, what the previous decision is right or wrong, or maybe didn't consider something. So all of that, it's revised and rechecking, and this degree is granted by the jurisdictions and by the law. So it's something, it's not only as well by the here, it's here, no, it's in everywhere, especially we are talking about the civil law. Yes. Here, because other country they apply other type of law, but in Dubai specifically they are applied the civil law. Okay, for in UK they apply the common law, for example. Yes, and yes. It's a big difference. A big difference in how it's applied, the process and the judgment, the conclusion. But here, the civil law grant for all of the party to go through all of the steps or all of the degree to make sure that they get the right or the nearest point to the right or to what they deserve.
I was going to ask Anton to tell us a little bit about your job. What do you do every day?
I was about to say is...
because we said what are these important projects, and then suddenly we started talking about AI, about VARA, about the courts. I mean, fascinating topics, but what do you do? How you come across... how is your day?
Yes. And just to mention, also key goal is always to bring the personal story on the podcast.
Yeah.
So how did you wake up one day and said, I will be in the legal... I'm sure your parents are very proud and family, but how did it happen?
Actually, so you start now with what you should start before,
okay? But we are spontaneous.
It's okay. That's amazing. Actually, I'm working as a senior financial expert. My role is specifically financial fraud investigation, and we do as well company liquidation or company evaluation. Is based on the what we are targeting to achieve. Most of my work is based on a conflict. When there is a conflict or there is a dispute between two parties, maybe they are partners, maybe the employee and the employer, maybe supplier and customer, maybe the bank and the other company. Any conflict, once it comes to the financial conflict, so here it come my rules. So we come and we check based on the task submitted or provided to me from the court or other jurisdiction authority. So they are investigating in a criminal case, but it's related to financial criminal case. Yes. And the judge is not doesn't have this much experience in the financial sector. Yes. So here it come my rules. I start to investigate if there is a criminal case. Is there some theft, embezzlement, manipulation, money laundering? All of that, I start to investigate it. I dig in it based on the documents, based on the transactions, the system used during the period under my investigation. So I come up with the conclusion if there is this person is guilty or innocent. I am not saying if he is guilty or innocent, but I check the scenario, how this scenario happened, how much money was was under the umbrella of these transactions, the duration, all of that. I come with fact to the judge, and accordingly the judge take all of these facts and he come up with his verdict, with his conclusion, with his judgment based on my report, which is include all of the fact, and this fact should be based on supporting documents. Me personally, because I have some other colleagues, they are so professional in different field and different sectors, because you know finance is very huge or very big scales. There is accounting, finance, insurance, and all of that. I focus more for the financial fraud related to the virtual assets, cryptocurrencies, and tokenization.
Amazing. How was your journey to get there? As I mentioned, so it was something that you wanted to do since your childhood, or maybe it was later in your career. Maybe parents, sometimes parents are very important in that process. How did you decide to or over time, saying, I am doing financial investigation for virtual assets from all of this? How did it happen?
Actually, once you come to my parents, they was expecting that I would be a doctor. So it's something else. You know, a doctor from my country or my our culture, doctor or engineer. This is the main.
And you are from
Egypt.
Okay,
yeah.
Just for the audience.
Yeah. This is the core the core field. Any parents expect their kid where he will go through. But actually, when I finished my high school and I get involved in economic and finance university, I was not expecting that I will go through this field at all. But based on my grade, my performance, I go through this. But later on, I discovered that this university, this college, is matched with my personality. I'm a man who is working with figures. We like to do working with checking the numbers, making some kind of evaluation and all of that. So it matched my personality. So I like it. However, I was not expecting, I was not planning to get involved. But accordingly, I start to get involved. I start to doing some professional certificates, such as certified internal auditor. I am already certified internal auditor, and then I graduated and I get involved in the audit firm, one of the big audit firm in my home country. And then I shift to other career related to the finance, for which is the investment. I become an investment manager, and I start to prepare my master degree in banking and finance. Then I go through my doctorate degree or my PhD in finance as well, and I prefer to, because it was so booming at this time. However, it was in the initial step. It was I remember it was almost in 2013, something like that. The blockchain, the cryptocurrency, the virtual assets was not having this popularity as we have nowadays. But I start to say to myself, how come this new technology? How come this new field? How come this new way of finance will change our world? So I come up with my thesis related to the cryptocurrency as a new generation of money, and its impact on the monetary system. I believe it was one of the first theses discussing this field, at least in my home country. And I get my PhD, and then somehow I get a communication from the Dubai government, and I appreciate this invitation to get involved in taking a position as a financial expert. And since then, I am working for the Dubai government as a senior financial expert in His Highness Ruler Court.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
an amazing story.
It's my pleasure, and I am so honored to be a part of this elite and special and very strong entity. Actually, it's something, it's like a game changer for my career path, and I wish that I will keep on the track, doing perfectly to match with the whole strategy for this entity.
Amazing. You were a pioneer, an innovator by identifying the opportunities in the virtual assets and then doing your education and your work very early on in that field. Can you tell us how does it compare the virtual asset ecosystem in Egypt and in the UAE? Can you tell us a little bit, because I think not many people, or I personally, do not have an understanding, for instance, how is it in Egypt? Is it developed? Is it in the early days? How, if from your understanding, how does it work?
Let's say, to talk frankly, in UAE in general and Dubai specifically, they taking the lead.
Yeah.
They taking the lead for many reasons. First of all, that they have a very strong infrastructure from the technological perspective, from the talent perspective, from the leader perspective as well, because the leader, they are doing great for direct the whole system toward the digitalization and fintech and all of that. And in other way, you know that we have like UAE is like a multinational country. Yes. It have a different nationality from everywhere. It has it accepting the new ideas so easy. Maybe we can say that the bureaucracy here in Dubai, I don't want to say it's a minimum. I can say that it's almost zero here in the bureaucracy.
So full efficiency.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. They are doing a great job. Once we come to my home country in Egypt, actually Egypt is a very big country. It's full of talents, full of so professional people, and I meet them everywhere, every time, and I'm so proud of them in all of the career. But you know, Egypt is a very huge country. It's we are talking about more than 100 million people as a population side. We are talking about like a country full of policy, regulations, procedures you have to follow. This sometimes is considered like a resistance against achieving what you are targeting for. But once we talk about the fintech, Egypt doing a great job at the moment. A lot of companies are there. They achieving because they have a very big base for the population.
Yes.
So they can set up, they can move, they can attract a lot of customers, clients from different level, from different perspective. So in Egypt, in fintech, in digitalization, they are doing a great job.
So digital transformation is happening as we talked in Egypt.
Yes, and financial inclusion is recently is amazing in Egypt. If it compared before, they are doing a great job. The current regime, the current administration at the moment in Egypt, they have a great vision. They benefit from the previous experience. However, in the area or abroad, they try to attract or get this knowledge and deploy it in Egypt. And they are, I believe, they are succeeding, and they are on the right track.
Awesome. And how does the crypto industry look like in Egypt, if you have a bit of understanding? I mean, here it's booming almost everywhere where you walk, you meet somebody in the crypto.
Because the frameworks are here,
Yes.
the regulation is here, the talent is here, so the education aspect is here in the UAE. I think this is what I stressed before, this digital transformation. I believe now it's happening not only in Egypt, but in many places around the world.
Sure. Actually, digital transformation, if it's become a fact, It's not something you would like to do. You should not think we have or we not have. It's something you should do it. So it's fact, and if you do not reach the flow, you will be behind significantly. But once it comes to matter of digitalization, once it comes to a matter of financial technology in Egypt, they are doing well. But once we come to the crypto, it's not regulated by the Egypt authority and the regulators. I don't want to say it's prohibited, but in some way it's not acceptable by the Egyptian government. And still we can consider it from other perspective, from the central bank digital currency. I believe we know that in UAE the central bank promised that there will be a central bank digital currency within 2025 or maximum at the beginning of 2026, and this is something amazing. And in Egypt, when I follow the information, the news, they are still studying this. But I believe in somehow they are making good progress regarding it, but it's still lacking a little bit compared to UAE.
Okay, I understand. As you mentioned, we have very progressive approach here in the UAE. Initiatives to drive central CBDCs, but also initiatives around stablecoins actually. Yes. So AED stablecoin as well. From your perspective, maybe also Demetrios, you can chip in. Is like, are these compatible products, compatible visions? Are they in a conflict or not? Or they're somehow side to each other? Because also just to say, many times when people talk about CBDCs in particular, it's always there, you can say, a concern around privacy for the individual, right? On the individual level. So, from your experience coming on the governmental side, how these two narratives, how do they come together, or do they come together? CBDC, stablecoins.
Perfect. To be able to answer your question, actually, we have to differentiate between what is stablecoins and what's central bank digital currency or CBDC. Stablecoins, we have different type of stablecoins. Stablecoins which is backed by something, has a value to make sure that the volatility of the price to be at the minimum. There is some stable coins is backed by the fiat currency, such as USDT, USDC. Others is backed by gold, tangible assets. Other is backed by other cryptocurrencies, where like a basket of other cryptocurrencies to minimize the volatility of the currencies. And other stable coin is algorithmic stable coin, which is something actually amazing, and I like it. You know, the value of any currency is equal to the price multiplied by the quantity. The algorithmic, to make sure that the volatility of the price at the minimum, they are working on the quantity, not the price. So they change, they alter, they work on the quantity to make sure that the value, the total value of the of these stable coins, it will be in a specific value. So stable coin is, we can observe it's acceptable by the individuals, because it facilitates transferring money from one place to other place, especially for area like there is a lot of immigrants. They would like to transfer money to their home country. So stablecoin is on the individual level, it's so acceptable. But and also it gives the privilege of the privacy. It gives the privilege of the freedom, no control on it. But once we move to the central bank digital currency, the situation is different. It's like a digital fiat currency. Correct. You know, it's regulated by the government, regulated by the central banks. So it's monitored by the government. So the government can control it as well as it's regulating the regular fiat currency. So from the government perspective, the central bank digital currency is the best solution or the best alternatives. So if they are competing each other, yes. If they are against each other, no. They are supporting each other. Because the existence of stablecoin motivating the government to find the alternatives. So they are going on the same way. So the existence of stablecoin push the government to find other solution, other alternatives for the individuals to handle their daily payment for the regular movement of currency between them and between each other through other alternatives. These alternatives should be monitored and regulated. So I don't see that they are competing. In fact, they are supporting each other. They will exist. But for the short term, I believe that the stable coin will be more popular on the base of B2B and on the individual side, while the central bank digital currency or CBDC will be more popular with the interbank transactions.
Yes.
So at least for the short term. And if we delve more on the CBDC, we will see that there is already country nowadays have their own central bank digital currency, such as Nigeria, Bahamas. They have their own CBDC, and the other country, they are on the almost on the last step of these CBDCs, such as China, India, Russia as well. So they are playing a great job on this side. So they are I believe, they make some kind of synergy.
Yes.
Between CBDC and stablecoin.
Yes. So you see a world where stablecoins and CBDCs can coexist.
They will coexist between both. It have to be. It will give the freedom. However, from the government perspective, they will prefer the CBDC side, but from the individual perspective, the stablecoin actually it's something more preferable to guarantee high level of privacy, freedom, and less control on the transactions. And it happened, this kind of transfer happened almost with zero time, almost with zero cost. That's why a lot of people preferring to transfer the money from country to other country, from place to other place, using their digital wallet. Compared to the regular transferring company or money transfer company as we have nowadays.
Yeah. We were discussing the innovative approaches like CBDC, stablecoins, but then we have the digital fiat and we have cash. What is happening with cash? Where will cash end up?
Cash will exist.
Cash will exist. How does it look like?
I believe if we ask us how much cash you have in your pocket, almost we have the minimum.
I have zero.
Almost.
To be honest.
Exactly.
Ahmed, I have zero.
So we use our credit card, we use our mobile, we use our wallet. So cash, the idea of cash is almost become obsolete. If we come through the history of money, we can observe that the money is keep changing every 30 or 40 years. If we go back, I will take you back in a journey for 150 years. If we go on 1880, for example, till 1915, before the World War I, there was the monetary system was applied at this time is the classical gold standard.
Yes.
Then we start to move from the 1915 till almost 1944. We move to other standard in which that we can gold exchange standard.
Yes.
In each unit of currency is backed partially by gold. Before, each unit of currency was backed completely by gold. Then we backed partially by gold. After the World War II, we come to a new system, Bretton Woods system, in which the dollar, any currency is backed by dollar, and the dollar is backed by gold. And each ounce of gold is equivalent to $35 at this time. 1971, situation is completely different. The United States announced that it will break the relation between the gold and the US dollar. And from this time, we start to move to a new system, which is fiat system. In each country, start to have its own or making its reserve using the US dollar.
Yes.
Nowadays, we are experiencing a new era of the money in which the new financial technology or new fintech or new type of money which we are experiencing nowadays, which we have on our daily and on a regular basis. As Demetrios said, we don't have a cash in our hands.
Yes.
Cash is something like imaginary at the moment. We are dealing just like with the figures, with the numbers.
Yes.
With you check your balance on your mobile based on a figures exist. If there are any transactions, you check it online. So the idea of cash is become obsolete, and within the coming few years, the cash will not exist at all in our daily life.
Okay. And do you see the future, just as a provocative question, do you see the future where we have a Bitcoin-backed or a crypto-backed currency in a relevant or big country? Is this the reality? And the reason why I ask you, we hear a lot about El Salvador as building their Bitcoin reserve. Bhutan actually as mining, so it's a country mining. We're talking about a strategic Bitcoin stockpile, or how they call it in US.
Yeah.
We're hearing about the sovereign wealth funds in Abu Dhabi.
Bitcoin reserves.
Yeah. So is this, maybe to open two questions, but not, I think not provocative, but is Bitcoin or crypto part of the central bank's balance sheet into the future? And is it part of backing money in the future?
To answer this question, we have to ask ourselves, who is the biggest economy in the world nowadays? United States and China. Who has the biggest reserve of Bitcoin nowadays? United States and China. So it's answering itself, because the country which is directing the global economy, which representing around 40% of the global economy, we are talking China and the US represent of around 40% of the global GDP. So they are almost having the biggest reserve of the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is here to exist. It's not an idea. It's become a fact. So it's become here. We have to deal it. However, we have a huge number of cryptocurrency nowadays, 15,000 cryptocurrency type we have. But this is normal for any new idea or any new assets. But later on, everything will be more regulated. Everything will be more stable. We have to cross, or we have to pass by this duration till everything will be more regulated, especially with the existence of the stablecoin as well.
Should we ask where Mr. Ahmed will be next week?
Sure.
What is happening with everybody's here for Token 2049?
Yes.
Is one of the biggest event in the region. Where people are expected to find you next week?
So actually we're going to be in the Blockfell event. Actually I believe it will be one of the amazing event. It will attract a lot of people who are interested in the field of blockchain, in cryptocurrency and virtual assets, tokenization. So it will be a great opportunity to meet you there, guys, and meet all of the interested people who are interested in this field. So it will be a great opportunity to share and to communicate and to discuss about what is going on and what is expected in the future.
Awesome. And maybe also to hear how does your plan look like for the summer and for the rest of the year? You mentioned that everything is digital, everything is remote. Does this enable you then to?
I was going to say that we have last week we had a guy which we interviewed, and he was pinpointing how important it is to also put vacations.
Yes.
So are you planning to take some vacations this summer?
Vacation is the main core, and everything is moving around. So
Nice. Good to hear.
So yeah, sure. I mainly manage two period of vacation. One, I focus to go to my home country to visit my family and my relatives and see what's going on with my home country. And the other one, I moved to somewhere else around the world with my wife and my kid. So we are expecting to be in Cyprus in this summer. Yeah.
But Demetrios, this is in your home country then.
I think you're also expected to be in Cyprus, Anton, this
I'm
summer.
with pleasure always in Cyprus.
So I will have two guides there, guys.
Yes.
It will be our pleasure. I
Yes.
mean, we have to give you back the hospitality the same way you're doing
It will
as
be
well in Egypt to everybody who is coming, I believe.
It will be my pleasure, and I believe the culture in Cyprus, in somehow it's similar to Egypt, especially the upper side of Egypt.
Prepare
because
yourself to
on
put
the
like 5
Mediterranean.
kilos because you look a little bit too thin.
Those taverns in
so-
Cyprus are very strong.
So I am looking forward to it. I'm sure that we will have a good experience there because all of the experience or all of the review about it, it was something so positive. So I wish that we are going to enjoy there, inshallah.
Yes. I think today we had a very, very interesting discussion and also a very complementary to the topics we have had so far at the podcast, because it's all about, in the end, bringing trust into the region and what the key people are doing here. So many times our friends or colleagues and partners are asking us, how is it in the UAE? How does it really work?
Yes.
And Demetrios, I think we always try to bring in the best people who can explain a bit about that. And today, I have to say, for me, it was really eye-opening. I have always kind of seen it from the side, how the judicial system works, right? But I think I get more and more confidence that we are here in the region, we're on the right track, and we are building something for the future and something for the long term. I don't know, Demetrios.
I liked your answer about this kind of business advisor, and it reminds me what we said with Anton. If you do not know all the answers, you need to ask the right questions.
Yes.
And if you ask the right questions, especially in this region, someone will help you.
Yes.
And having this foundation here in the region, I think it's one of the greatest advantage we have being here.
Yeah.
So thank you for highlighting this up as well.
Actually, it was my pleasure, and thank you for the invitation to share my thoughts and my idea with you guys. I enjoyed this short discussion. I'm sure that we will keep having extra discussion about a lot of topics, a lot of business sectors, but really I enjoyed your questions. It was so amazing, and you directed in a proper way and in a perfect way. And I need to emphasize and stress that, as what you mentioned, that the area here is one of the best destination or perfect destination for any business owner, for any entrepreneur, for any founder to start up his own business with high level of trust, confidentiality, and enjoyment as well.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. And hopefully we have you again as well at some point to revisit our discussion. And really big thank you. And as Demetrios always tells to me, he says, Anton, we have an amazing podcast, but then always tell our kind audience to like the video and then to subscribe to our channel. So please do that. And looking forward to showing you some more amazing people in the future. And today we have Ahmad, which was really a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming. And
Thank you,
have a
guys. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.